Hello, this is the fifth lesson in our English literature spec, and for this lesson we're going to focus on the characters in Death of a Salesman. I've said it so many times, I'll just say it again quickly. This is not to give you ideas, it's to give you the tools you need to make your own ideas. First off, I say first off at the start of all of my videos. Don't know why, I don't say it in daily conversation, but it helps me to say it in this. So, first off, Willy Loman. Loman. I know it's spelled L-O-M-A-N, but it's kind of, his family name has connotations of being low or less than great, or even less than average. He's mentally ill, so Willy Loman is without a doubt mentally ill. This is in a time where mental illness wasn't really looked at all. There wouldn't have been treatment available for him. He would have just been seen as soft and weak. And to some extent, he is made soft and weak by his mental illness. But he is not mentally ill because he is soft and weak. He is drunk on the American dream as well. He has all of these ideas in his head about what a good man should be. He should be well liked. He should have a great body. He should work out and stuff. He should cheat, I suppose, to some extent. He needs to be more charismatic, I suppose, than the next man. He need not be intelligent so long as he's charismatic, which I won't engage with. You could argue that's the reality in real life. I'm not going to get into that. Overwhelmingly, Willy is a character who's deluded. He has taken on these values which have been instilled into him by the society in which he lives, and he's unable to question it. His failure to live up to the values he's adopted has caused him to be incredibly mentally ill, and as a result we see a man who is not by any means great. After looking at Linda, After looking at Willy, it makes perfect sense to look at Linda Loman. Linda is a character which can divide readers and audiences based on what they think her intentions are and whether or not they think that she acted accordingly and in a way which benefits Willy the most. However, I think it's very hard to argue with the idea that Linda is a stereotypical good wife. She is very loyal, very obedient, very submissive, kind of like a dog. I suppose those three words sum up a dog and not, I suppose, a person. But those are the values which, generally speaking, are seen in that time period to be characteristics of a good wife. Nowadays, as feminist critics, we can say, no, that's not right. She should be a strong, independent woman who don't need no man. Linda. She also lacks any kind of temperament to disagree with Willy, but also she can't bind to Willy's dreams. There are two ways of looking at this. First off, she isn't strong enough to buy into the dreams. Second way of looking at it is, well, she is intelligent enough to know that Willy's dreams are complete nonsense, but she loves him, so she supports him to the best of her ability, and so it can be seen that she is not partners with Willy, but more supportive of Willy, I guess. Most importantly, she's not ignorant. She knows full well that Willy is ill. She knows that his dreams are absolute madness. We know this because she basically says it to Biff in Act 1. But she chooses not to act on her knowledge, and therefore we can argue that perhaps she is to blame for Willy Loman's downfall. Something I think I could add as well. Linda, without knowing it, causes a great deal of pain to Willy, and the reason for that is she is a constant reminder to Willy of his adultery. I don't know whether we can attribute blame to Linda for that, but it's something I think worth considering. Biff, he was once a great sports star, he's now a failure. He hates himself for it. His dad kind of hates him for it. His brother doesn't really hate him for it. His mum Yeah. But he knows himself. He could have been great, but he's not. He blames that on his dad, I suppose for good reason, but I don't think we can blame all of Biff's problems on Willie. Biff kind of chose to go off the rails after he found out about his dad's affair, so we can question whether or not that's down to him or down to Willie. He is, though, unquestionably insightful and perceptive. He is by far, save for Charlie and Bernard, he is by far the most intelligent character, save for these two, as I just said, because he sees what's going on around him. He sees that a lot of his life has been a lie, but he also sees that society is trying to push him in a way which he doesn't want to go. He wants to work outdoors, he wants to work with his shirt off, he wants to work with horses, but he knows that society doesn't think that that's an acceptable thing to do as a man. It kind of doesn't make sense because that's like the manliest job possible, but regardless, he knows a lot about what's going on around him. So although he is not a great man, he does have some knowledge which can be attributed as great in the context of the story. His brother then, Happy. He's obviously deluded. I think Happy's a weird name for Happy because it can be questioned whether or not he's happy at all. He's said to wear sexuality like I don't know what the exact quote is, but his sexuality is supposedly visible on him just because of the way he walks and talks and stuff. But he explains that he doesn't like being a womanizer. He wants to find some sort of happiness. He attempts to find happiness by supporting his father, but his father doesn't want any of it. Willie tells him, you can't support me on your rubbish wage with all your women, and therefore Happy really wants more than anything to be loved by his father. He wants to be loved by a woman who doesn't just want sex. He gets neither. So to be called happy, he's actually quite miserable, and it's really quite sad if you think of it that way. Absolute deluded character. He's bought into everything Willie has said, so he shares many of the same delusions as Willie, and therefore it's questionable whether or not he will suffer the same fate as his dad. These four are really depressing because they're all victims, I suppose, of the evil capitalist system. Charlie and Bernard aren't. They are success stories of capitalism. Charlie works in an office. He's quite successful. He doesn't seem to have to worry about money. But the real success comes with Bernard. Bernard, we meet an older version of Bernard in Act 2, and he is so successful, but also he's very likeable because he's very successful, but he doesn't throw it in Willie's face. In fact, he doesn't want Willie to know he's successful. He's a lawyer working. He's going to be involved in something at the Supreme Court of America, which, if you don't know, is like the highest court in America. But Bernard also, and same goes for Charlie, they have this role in the story as the voice of reason. When we go back into the expressionist portions of the play, there are times where Bernard and Charlie almost predict the future because they think like rational, normal people, whereas the rest of them are just completely manic. They're drunk on this ideology, whereas Charlie and Bernard, they look at things the way they are. Charlie doesn't care about being well liked, nor does Bernard really, but they're the most successful because they work hard and they are, I suppose, nice people. The woman, obviously, there's the... With the woman, there are two sides. So there's the easy side. You can blame her for messing up Willie's marriage. She's a seductress and lots of other rude words, and therefore she is, a bad person. However, there is this point of view that she's actually quite misunderstood, I think, to some extent, because it's easy for us to blame her, but we don't know her own personal circumstances. Quite frankly, she could not know that Willie's married, and therefore I think the fact that we all kind of jump to blame her for her deeds kind of reflects back on us and shows us that we don't actually think about how we assign blame, especially when it's to adulteresses. Ben is the foil, the dramatic foil of Charlie. If you've got the good side of capitalism here, you've got the evil side of capitalism with Ben. Ben makes his money by doing something in Africa. He is one of the weirdest characters because all he does is spout rhetoric, or at the very least, all Willie remembers him doing is spouting rhetoric. I went out into the jungle and I found a diamond. No, you didn't. You just went and exploited some poor African people and you didn't keep any notes of it. He boasts that he doesn't keep any books as if that's something good. No, he's probably like a fraudster and all these other horrible things, but he is filthy rich. This makes us question capitalism because if a person as detestable as Ben can do so very well, surely the system is flawed. That's what I mean. You've got the two sides of capitalism. You've got the honest, hard-working side and the exploitative, evil side. I think it's worth questioning whether we as the audience, whether we see Ben as evil, but then also when we look around in wider society, whether or not we think people exactly like Ben are evil. So many people do exactly the same exploitative things that Ben does, but we don't think they're evil. We think that they're enviable. We envy them because they've got money and fast cars and nice houses. So I think a lot of this play is throwing questions at us and trying to see how we respond to them. Finally, last and to be honest probably least, Harold Wagner. He's also a capitalist. He deals Willie a bad hand by sacking him. But again, we need to think, are we being too swiftly, are we being too swift to judge Harold Wagner? I mean, after all, he did put up with Willie, a mentally ill old man, for a really long time, and he only actually sacked him when Willie came in and asked to kind of get a promotion. So again, as the audience, are we being too quick to judge? Are we not considering people's circumstances? This is what Miller, in my opinion, wants us to think about. And it's trying to engage with questions like these which are going to get you really high marks in the exam. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more of my content. And I hope to see you again next time.